Welcome to Balas's YouTube channel. Before seeing the video, subscribe my YouTube channel and like the video. Press the red button, that is a subscribe button. Now in this, today we'll see the part 2, third chapter, Science and Technology for class 10, Chemical Reactions and Equation. Now rate of chemical reaction means there are some reaction which is slow and there are some reaction which is fast. When you go to the kitchen, you light a gas stove using the ignition. At that time, the rate of reaction is fast. You take a iron articles. The iron, it becomes rust. But will it be fast or slow? That will be slow. Very slowly it will do. That means here the reaction is slow. Any chemical reaction takes place in a laboratory and a precipitate is formed. That means that is a fast reaction. So here what you learn, that some are completed in a short interval and some are completed in a long interval. That means the rate of reaction is different for different chemical reaction. Say for example, it depends upon the changing condition also. Condition means in a winter, a milk is required for making a curd, but it takes a long time. But in a summer time, it takes less time. So this is an example of rate of chemical reaction. Factors affecting the rate of chemical reaction. In these factors, we will see the nature of the reactants. Now what do you mean by nature of the reactants? Some metals, some elements which are fast, some are slow. Why? Because of the nature of that particular elements. Let's say for an example of aluminium and zinc, both when we react with hydrochloric acid, you get salt plus hydrogen gas. But the reaction of aluminium is faster than the reaction of zinc. Why? Because aluminium is more reactive than zinc. Therefore, the rate of reaction of aluminium with the hydrochloric acid is higher than zinc. So the nature or the reactivity of the reactants influences the rate of chemical reaction. So always remember, aluminium is faster than zinc. So here the reaction is fast, here the reaction is slow. This is the nature of reactant. Next is the size of the particle of the reactants. Smaller the size of the reactant, higher is the rate of the reaction. Let me tell you one good example which you use in your day-to-day life. You take a sugar, add water in it and mix it. It will take 2-3 minutes for mixing it. Right? So in place of that, you make a powder sugar. That means the sugar which you use it, powder it and again mix it with water. It will take even 30 seconds to 1 minute for dissolving. That means if you make the crystal smaller, the reaction will be very fast. So smaller the size of the reactant, higher is the rate of the reaction. One more example, you take a piece of a Shahbaz stone, your tiles which you use at home. You take a piece of a Shahbaz tiles in equal weight in 2 test tube. One a piece and other is a powder. Take it in a test tube. Now here you add hydrochloric acid in Shahbaz, in this test tube and in this test tube. In both test tube had a hydrochloric acid. You see a effervescence comes out. That means from this a carbon dioxide comes out, but the carbon dioxide in one test tube it comes faster, in one test tube it comes slower. So which reaction is very fast? The one which is a powder one, the reaction is fast. The stone which is in the type of a pieces, the reaction is very slow. So smaller the size of the reactant, higher is the rate of the reaction. Next, concentration of the reactant. Now previously we discussed about the concentration, the concentrated or dilute. If dilute HCl is there, the reaction will be slow. Let's say you take a dilute HCl, you mix with calcium carbonate, CaCO3. Let us consider a reaction with dilute HCl and concentrated HCl with CaCO3 powder. Now let us see the reaction. Here also you add CaCO3 plus HCl, CaCO3 plus HCl. The difference is here the HCl is dilute, here the HCl is concentrated. Now what will happen to the reaction? The dilute HCl, it reacts slowly with your CaCO3 and thereby this CaCO3 disappears slowly and carbon dioxide gas also comes out very slow because it is dilute HCl. But if you add concentrated HCl with CaCO3, so the reaction is very fast because it is concentrated. That means the concentrated HCl takes place rapidly and this CaCO3 disappears faster. So concentrated acid reacts faster than the dilute acid. Once again, concentrated acid reacts faster than the dilute acid, which means that the rate of the reaction, the rate of the chemical reaction is proportional to the concentration of the reaction. Temperature of the reactants. Now in the previous example we learned that the calcium carbonates, when we heat it, a calcium oxide is formed and carbon dioxide is released out. Now before heating, if you are not heating this, the lime water, in the previous example in the activity we learned that, so after heating, when we pass a carbon dioxide in the lime water, that lime water turns milky. But before heating, the lime water does not turn milky. Why? Because temperature, there was no heat. So there was no reaction. So when we heat that calcium carbonate, then only a carbon dioxide is formed, then the lime water turns milky. But before that, there was the rate of reaction was zero because it was not heated. But that means what you learn from this, the rate of reaction, it increases only when the temperature increases. That means when we heat it, then only the rate of reaction takes place. That means when you heat it, this calcium carbonate separates and carbon dioxide comes out. But before heating, there is no rate of reaction. That means the rate of reaction, it also increases because of increasing in the temperature. Let me tell you one example of the rate of reaction with temperature. When you make a tea, you add sugar, milk, water, you all mix it and you use a tea powder. But if you mix everything and you are not heating it, will the reaction take place? No. But if you want a tea, what you will do? You have to first heat it. That means you have to increase the temperature. So the rate of reaction increases only when the temperature increases. That means when you increase the temperature means you are heating this. So when you heat it, then only the sugar, milk, water, tea all mix and a separate product is formed which we call as a tea. Catalyst. Now previously we discussed that catalyst plays an important role. Now here let's take an example. On heating this potassium chloride, this potassium chloride, it decomposes slowly. Now you can see the reaction here. Now what happens here is we want to liberate the oxygen. If oxygen should come out, that means the oxygen gas should be liberated. But there is no reaction on heating it. As we decreases the size of the particle, then also there is no rate of reaction. Then we increase the temperature, then also there is no rate of reaction. That means after all decreasing the size of the particle, even temperature is increased, then also the oxygen is not liberated. Then we added a catalyst, manganese oxide. Immediately the oxygen is liberated. That means this manganese oxide, it acts as a catalyst. So after adding manganese oxide, and oxygen is liberated. So manganese oxide is a catalyst. So the substance in whose presence the rate of the chemical reaction changes without causing any changes in the chemical reaction or chemical changes to it is called as a catalyst. That means after adding this MnO2, that is manganese oxide, there is no chemical changes takes place in this manganese oxide. So we call this as a reactant. That means after adding this, there is no changes in the product. Only the reaction of potassium chloride takes place. The manganese oxide you cannot see in the product. So catalyst plays an important role in the chemical reaction. Welcome students. In this session we will learn how to balance a chemical equation. Balancing means the reactant and the product both should be same. Now let us check it out whether the reactant and products are same or not. Now before that there are some rules to write this. Now here you see sodium. I write sodium here. Okay, this is the reactant side, product side. So here sodium, then oxygen, hydrogen, sulfur. There also sodium, sulfur is there, oxygen is there, and hydrogen is there. Now let us write how many sodium you can see here. There is only one sodium. How many oxygen you have? 1, and you have 4. That means 5. How many hydrogen is there? 1 plus 2, 3 hydrogen. How many sulfur is there? Only 1 sulfur. Let's go to the product side. How many sodium you have? 2. How many oxygen you have? 4 plus 1, 5. How many hydrogen you have? 2 hydrogen. And how many sulfur you have? Only 1 sulfur. Okay. So that means here sodium is less. On the product side, hydrogen is less. So it is not balanced. So how to balance it? So I'll do one thing. First I'll focus on sodium. I want to make this as 2. So I'll multiply this by 2. So when I multiply this by 2, that means I have to do the changes in the equation. I cannot do any changes here inside. I have to do the changes only outside. So sodium is on the left side, the reactant side. I have to multiply by 2. I write a 2 here. But the thing is, when I change this as 2, so 2 sodium, 2 oxygen, 2 hydrogen. So there is a changes in sodium, oxygen and hydrogen. Let us do that changes. The next step, step number 2. So when you write in your notebook, first you write that first step. Then your second step is write the equation again and write the changes what you do it. And again write the reactant product, write the product and write the reactant also. Now how many sodium you find? 2 sodium here. Oxygen here 2 and here 4. 6 oxygen. Hydrogen here 2 and here 2. 4 hydrogen. Sulfur 1 and 1. Now what? It should be balanced. Oxygen and hydrogen is not balanced here. So you have to balance let us balance the hydrogen which is on the product side. So I'll multiply this by 2. Now our step number 3. Again down you write the equation again, the same equation. Now what changes you have to do? In hydrogen on the product side you multiply by 2. Now here, where is hydrogen? Here. So I write the 2 here. Because I multiplied by 2. Now again you have to do the changes here. Let us see the changes. Sodium 2, oxygen 2 plus 4, 6. Hydrogen, 2 plus 2, 4. Sulfur, only 1. On the product side, sodium 2, sulfur is only 1, oxygen 4, and 2 to the 4. So 2 oxygen and 4 oxygen. Total 6 oxygen. Hydrogen 2 to the 4. Now is it balanced? Yes. Step 3. So in 3 steps we have balanced it. So let us do the other equation. Now let us balance the second equation. H2, H2O7, which is a liquid. H2O is a liquid. H2SO4 is a liquid. Now our step number 1. How you write the step number 1? First you write reactant. Here you write product. Then H, S, O, O. So how many hydrogen is there? Here 2, 4. Sulfur, only 2. Oxygen, 7, 1, 8. Let's go to the product side. This is the product side. H, only 2. S, only 1. And oxygen, 4. This is just step number 1, which you write in your notebook. Now we will do the step number 2. In step number 2, what you have to do? We will balance it. Let us balance it. So I'll balance the hydrogen, which is on the product side, which is very less. So I multiply this by 2, so that here already hydrogen is 4. Here also I'll get hydrogen as 4. So your second step you have to write this only. Then again write the equation. Now you have changed the product, multiply by 2, that is an H. So where is the H? Here. So write here as commonly, multiply by 2. So in the second step, what you obtain is, these are same, I have not changed here, but 2 to the 4. How many sulfur is there? 2. Here 4 oxygen into 2, 8. Is it balanced? That means in 2 steps we have already balanced it. Now let us do the third one. SO2 plus H2S gives S plus H2O. So let us do the, write the table. Reactant, product, here S, O, H, again S, 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 okay, everything is here. Let us see the reactants. Reactants, how many S is there? 1 and 1, 2S. Oxygen, 2. Hydrogen, 2. Let's go to the product side. How many S you see here? There is only 1 S. I write here 1. Oxygen, only 1 oxygen. Hydrogen, 2. So the first thing is I have to balance it. So let us consider this S. Which side is less? On the product side. So I write 2. Now before writing this 2, let me do one thing. I'll solve the oxygen part first. So oxygen part is less. I'll multiply this by 2. If I multiply this by 2, that means here I have to write 2 because oxygen is here. So our first step is this one. Second step is you multiply by 2 and do the changes here. The second step. So when you do the changes here, what are changes you see here? Let us do that. When you write here 2, so now S is 1, oxygen is 2, hydrogen is 4. Now when you consider this, you can see that on the left side, that is in the reactant side, hydrogen is less and product is more now. Now our step number 3. So in step number 3, what you will do? I multiply this by 2 so that 2 to the 4, so that it will be equal. So when I multiply this by 2, where will I do the changes? Here, because hydrogen is here. So I'll write 2. 2 here. Now when I write here 2, there will be some changes here. So what are the changes? Let us see. S, here 4H and 2S. So 2S plus 1, 3S. Oxygen only 2. Hydrogen 4. Now compare this. 4, 4, 2, 2. Now here we have to do the changes here. So now step number 4. In step number 4, I multiply this by 3. So when I multiply this by 3, I have to do the changes in the product side. S. So S is here. I wrote here 3. Now I have not made any changes in the reactant side. I have made the changes in the product side. Next step is 3S, 4 hydrogen and 2 oxygen. Here now it is balanced. In this way you have to do the equation balanced. Our next balance in the chemical equation is Ag. This is silver, which is a solid. HCl, which is a liquid, that is aqueous. AgCl, the arrow is given down, that means AgCl is a precipitate formed. H2, the arrow goes up, that means H2 is a gas. Now I'll write the reactant. Here I'll write the product. Now what all I can see here? Ag, H, Cl. Now let us write the reactant side. How many Ag you have? Only one. H, only one. Cl, only one. On the product side, Ag, only one. Cl, you have only one. H2, 2. That means hydrogen is not balanced. So let us do the step number 2. Now step number 2 is multiply this by 2 so that it can be balanced. So when you multiply this by 2, that means you have to do the changes here. So I write here 2. So when I write here 2, let us check. Ag only 1. Hydrogen now it is 2. But chlorine is also 2. 2 hydrogen, 2 chlorine. So we'll do the step number 3 now. Our step number 3 is chlorine is not balanced. Ag is balanced, hydrogen is balanced. But on the product side, chlorine is not balanced. So I'll write here multiply by 2. So where is the chlorine? Here. So if I multiply by 2, that means I have to write the changes here. Now let's check it out. So I have made the changes here. Now our next step number 4 is Ag1, 2H, Cl2. No changes in the reactant. But there is a changes in the product. Ag I have 2. Chlorine I have 2. Hydrogen I have 2. Still it is unbalanced. On the left side, on the reactant side, Ag is unbalanced. So our step number 5. Step number 5, in Ag I multiply by 2 so that this can be balanced. If I multiply by 2 here, what I have to do? I have to do the changes here. Now let's check it out. 2Ag, 2H, 2Cl. C2, 2, 2, 2. That means now it is balanced. Let's do one more. NaOH, which is aqueous plus H2SO4. This is also liquid, it is aqueous. Now this gives Na2SO4. This is also aqueous plus H2O, which is a liquid. Now let us balance this. So same reactant and product. If you are still confused how to write it in a notebook, I'll explain you step by step. You just listen it carefully because this will be a last chemical equation to be balanced here. Now your first step, you write the equation, write reactant product and write step number 1. Step number 1, NaOH, H is there, S. Now let us write the number of Na. How many Na is there? Only 1. Oxygen, here you have 4 and 1, that is 5. Hydrogen you have here 2 and here 1, 3. Sulfur you have only 1. What on the product side? Na you have 2, oxygen 4 plus 1, 5, hydrogen 2 and sulfur 1. Let us balance Na first. Here oxygen is balanced, but sulfur is balanced, but hydrogen and Na is not balanced. So let us balance the reactant side. So this is the first step which you see in the notebook. Now second step, step number 2. Again write this reactant and product down. This one right here, multiply by 2 for balancing. For second step. After writing this, again write the equation. When you multiply by 2 here, that means you have to do the changes here. Then after writing this, write this equation down and again write the product and the reactants for balancing. Now what balancing you do here? Na you have 2, but oxygen 2 and 4, 6, hydrogen 2 and here 2 is common here, that means 2 common means 2 Na, 2 oxygen, 2 hydrogen. So here you have 2 hydrogen and 2 hydrogen, you have 4 hydrogen and sulfur you only 1. So now sodium is balanced, but oxygen is unbalanced, hydrogen is unbalanced. So we'll do one thing, we'll balance this hydrogen part. Now this is your step number 3. Now in step number 3 what you will do? Again you write this as you see in the second step, then do the changes here. In step number 3, write this reactant products, do the changes here. After doing the changes, again write the equation where you made the changes in hydrogen. Where is hydrogen? Here. 2. Again write the equation by changing this. Then down again write the reactant product, write the same thing. Left side there is no changes, but here there will be a changes here. So let us see what changes you see here. 2 Na, S, there is only 1 S. Oxygen, now 4 hydrogen is there. So I will write here 4 hydrogen. Oxygen, 4 oxygen and 2 oxygen, that is 6 oxygen. Is it balanced? 2, 2, 6, 6, 4, 4, 1, 1. That means in third step it is balanced. So I think you understood what we mean by balancing the chemical equation. You learned how to balance it. If you not understood, see the video again and again so that it can be clear for you. Thank you.